Toma sat alone inside his small scout ship as it moved slowly above an unknown planet. He was a young explorer from Earth, part of a larger team traveling through a distant part of the galaxy. His job was to scan new planets and collect data. Most of the time, his missions were calm and quiet, but this planet was different. The ship's screen began to flicker. A strange energy signal appeared. It was pulling his ship closer. Toma tried to control it, but the ship shook hard. The engines stopped working. Before he could send a message, the ship dropped into the clouds. Trees covered the land below. The ship broke through the top branches and hit the ground with a loud crash. Smoke filled the air, and lights inside the ship blinked. Toma was thrown from his seat. Then everything went dark. When he woke up, it was quiet. Only the sound of wind through leaves could be heard. He opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt, but he was alive. He stood up and looked around. His ship was broken. Panels had fallen off. Wires sparked. The communication system was dead. Toma stepped outside. The air smelled sweet. The plants were tall and glowing. Some flowers were bigger than his head. The sky had two suns. It was not like any place he had seen before. He checked his small toolkit. Most of it had survived. He would try to fix the ship later. First, he needed food, water, and shelter. As he walked near the trees, he felt something strange. The forest was too quiet. No birds, no small animals, just silence. Then he saw them. Tall shapes moved between the trees. At first, he thought they were trees walking. But when they came closer, he saw faces, human-like faces, but much bigger. They were women, very tall women. Each one was more than twice his size. Their skin was smooth, and their clothes were made of leaves and soft cloth. Their hair was long and tied with beads. They moved slowly and watched him closely. Toma froze. He held up his hands to show he meant no harm. The women looked at each other but said nothing. One of them stepped forward. She had kind eyes and a calm face. She pointed to his ship, then pointed to the forest path. Toma understood. They wanted him to follow. He walked with them through the forest. The path led to a village high in the trees. Big wooden bridges connected the homes. Each house was made from wood and light stone. The trees were wide and strong, holding the weight with ease. In the center of the village, many tall women stood in a circle. They looked at Toma with great interest. Some smiled. Others whispered. A few children peeked from behind large roots. A tall woman with silver hair stepped forward. She looked older than the rest. Her voice was deep but gentle. "Name," she said in a slow, careful tone. Toma pointed to himself. "Toma," he replied. The woman nodded. "Mira," she said, pointing to herself. She spoke again, slowly, using simple words. "You crash. You not from here. You small one. But welcome." Toma smiled. He did not know what would happen next. But for now, he was safe. Mira led him to a small hut made for his size. Inside was soft bedding, water, and fruit. He sat down and tried the food. It was sweet and juicy. He felt better each day. One of the women visited him. They taught him their words. He learned to say simple things. He also taught them his words. They learned fast. After 1 week, Toma could speak simple sentences. He learned the women were called the Taru. Their people had lived on the planet for many generations. They loved peace, music, and nature. They had no machines, but they were wise in other ways. One evening, Mira sat with Toma. She looked serious. "You only man we see," she said. "Long ago, no more men. Our people now only women. You fall from sky. It is sign. You important." Toma did not know what to say. He felt small in this strange place, but he also felt respected. Mira looked at him kindly. "You rest now. Tomorrow, we talk more." That night, Toma looked at the stars. He thought of home. He missed Earth, but he also felt something new in his heart, a quiet feeling that this place had a story for him. And maybe, just maybe, he was now a part of it. The sun rose slowly over the tree village. Its golden light touched the leaves and wooden homes, waking the forest with soft warmth. Toma opened his eyes and stretched. He had slept better than before. The soft bedding and quiet sounds of the forest made him feel calm. Outside his small hut, he heard light footsteps. When he stepped out, he saw Lena, one of the Taru women. She was tall like the others but younger, with light brown hair tied in a braid. She smiled and waved at him. "Come," she said. "Food ready." Toma followed her to the gathering area. A large round platform was filled with fruit, bread made from roots, and warm tea from glowing leaves. The women greeted him with gentle smiles. They had started to accept him as part of their daily life. After the meal, Mira, the silver-haired leader, called him to walk with her. She led him across high bridges and showed him more parts of the village. He saw tall stone carvings that told stories. Some showed the Taru building homes and trees. Others showed stars falling from the sky. Toma pointed to one picture. It showed a small figure, shaped like a man, standing beside a tall woman. Above them, a star was shining. Mira looked at the carving and then looked at him. "This story old," she said. "It tells of sky people. One comes to help. One helps our future." Toma listened carefully. The words were simple, but the meaning felt heavy. Mira continued, "Long ago, our men became sick. Sky dust made them weak. One by one, they left us. Now, only women remain. We keep peace. We live well, but we cannot grow our tribe." Toma nodded slowly. He had heard of strange space dust before, but he had never seen it do harm like this. "You fell from sky," Mira said. "Your gift." Toma felt a mix of thoughts. He was just an explorer. He did not feel like a gift, but these people looked at him with hope. He did not want to let them down, but he also did not know what they expected. That day, Mira brought him to a place called the Circle of Elders. It was a wide area, shaped like a ring, with tall stones around it. 6 older Taru women sat in the circle, each with hair tied in special colors. They were quiet at first, then began to speak in their soft language. Toma only understood some words, but he knew they were talking about him. After a while, Mira turned to him and spoke in words he understood. "We must ask," she said. "Will you help us? Will you walk with us? Will you choose one of us to share your path?" Toma's eyes widened. The words were kind, but strong. He was being asked to take part in their future. He felt unsure. He looked at Mira. "I need time," he said. Mira nodded. "We give time. Learn us. Know us." The elders gave a sign of peace, touching their hands to their hearts. Toma did the same. Then he left the circle with Lena. Over the next few days, Toma was free to move around the village. He spent time with different women from the tribe. Each one had a story. Each one had something to teach. Lena showed him how they grew fruit on floating platforms tied with vines. The plants floated in the air using soft stones that glowed. Toma helped water the plants and tasted fresh fruit right from the branch. Another day, a woman named Sari took him to a quiet place in the forest. There were tall stones with carvings all around. She showed him pictures of stars, animals, and songs written in symbols. She gave him a flat stone and let him try carving. He drew his ship, small under a bright moon. Sari smiled when she saw it. In the evening, Nola, a woman with short black hair and strong arms, brought him to the music circle. She gave him a simple wooden flute. The Taru played music using wind, leaves, and drums made from soft bark. Toma listened, then played a tune from earth. The tribe clapped gently and swayed with the sound. Bit by bit, Toma began to feel at home. These people were kind, wise, and full of life. They did not rush him. They did not force him. They only offered friendship. One night, as he sat under the stars with Lena, she asked a quiet question. "Do you miss your sky world?" Toma looked up at the stars, then down at the forest below. "Yes." He said, "But this place is peaceful, and you all have welcomed me." Lena looked at him. "We hope you stay. We hope you choose." Toma felt the words deep in his chest. He knew a choice was coming, but he also knew he needed to understand more. For now, he would learn, listen, and explore. The Taru had shared their world with him. Now it was his turn to walk among them and find his path. The wind moved softly through the tall trees. Morning light fell across the village platforms. Birds with colorful feathers flew between the branches. The Taru tribe had already begun their daily work. Some were gathering fruit, others were repairing ropes and bridges. Everything was peaceful. Toma sat near a wooden railing, holding a piece of fruit in his hand. He was thinking deeply. The words of Mira and the elders stayed in his mind. They had asked him to make a choice. They had spoken gently, but the meaning behind their words was clear. His presence in the tribe meant more than just a visit. They believed he had a role in their future. Lena walked over and sat beside him. She looked at him with her usual kind eyes. "You are quiet today," she said. Toma nodded. "Many thoughts." He replied. She gave a small smile. "I understand. The elders are meeting now. They will speak to you again." Toma looked down at the forest floor far below. "Do I have to decide today?" "No," she said. "But they want to know your heart." Later that day, a bell made from a curved shell rang across the village. It was a sign for gathering. The Taru people moved toward the circle of elders. Toma walked with them. He felt nervous, but also curious. What would they say this time? The circle of elders was calm. The same 6 elder women sat on their seats, made from smooth stone. Mira stood beside them. Her silver hair was tied with threads of green and blue. She raised her hand for silence. "Toma," she began, "you came from the stars. You fell from the sky and walked into our forest. We did not know if you were friend or stranger. But now we know." She looked around the circle. All eyes were on him. "You learned our words. You listened to our stories. You walked with our people. You showed respect. This is rare. Many forget to listen. But you listened." Toma stood straight. He did not speak yet. Mira continued. "Now we share our truth with you. Our tribe needs to grow. Our children are few. Our people will not last forever. Long ago, we hoped for a sign. You're that sign." The wind was quiet. Not a leaf moved. "We ask you," Mira said, "to choose one of our people. Walk with her. Learn her heart. Join our path. It is not a rule. It is an offer. You are free." Toma took a deep breath. Then he stepped forward. "I thank you," he said slowly. "You saved me. You gave me food, shelter, and kindness. You taught me your ways. I have learned much, but I am still learning." The elders nodded. "I do not want to make a wrong choice," Toma said. "I want to understand more. I want to walk with more of your people, hear more stories. Then I can choose not just with my mind, but with my heart." Mira smiled. "This is wise. You may take time. Our path is patient." The meeting ended with soft music and gentle claps. No one rushed Toma. No one pressed him. They gave him time, just as he had asked. The next morning, Toma began walking through the village again, visiting new places and people. He spent time with Fyra, a tall woman with a quiet voice. She showed him how to make paint from crushed plants. Together, they painted leaves with simple patterns. She told him stories of when she was a child, playing near the glowing rivers. One afternoon, Toma visited Rena, a strong woman who worked with ropes and vines. She taught him how to tie knots that could hold weight or stretch with movement. She let him climb a short platform with her and showed him how they build new bridges. At night, Toma sat with Sari again, the one who had shown him the story stones. She gave him a smooth piece of stone and told him to carve what he felt. He carved a picture of a tree with two paths. One led to a star. The other led to a small hut in a forest. Both paths were connected. Sari looked at the carving and said, "This is your heart." Toma smiled. "Yes, I think so." Days passed. Toma began to feel more at home than ever before. Each person in the tribe had their own light, their own way of sharing life. He felt welcome wherever he went. One evening, Mira came to visit him again. They sat near a small fire made from glowing wood. "You have walked many paths now," she said. Toma nodded. "And I feel more part of your world. I still think of my ship, but I also think of staying." Mira looked at him with soft eyes. "You do not have to choose with pressure. You must choose with peace." Toma looked up at the stars. "I want to help. I want to be part of something good, but I also want to bring something of myself. Mira nodded. Then your answer is near. When your heart speaks, follow it. As the fire flickered, Toma felt the words settle in his chest. He did not yet have all the answers, but he was not afraid anymore. This place, full of tall trees, strong women, and soft songs, had given him something rare. A chance to begin again. Toma woke early. The sky was still soft and blue, and the forest below the tree village was quiet. A light mist floated in the air. Toma stepped out of his small hut and stretched his arms. Birds with long feathers sat on the ropes, watching him. Today felt different. He did not feel like a visitor anymore. He had walked among the Taru for many days now. He knew their food, their music, their tools, and their stories. But still, he had not made his final choice. He wanted to understand more before speaking from his heart. Lena came to him holding a small woven bag. Today, we walk far, she said with a smile. Toma nodded. Where do we go? She looked toward the forest, to the east fields. You must see the breadth of our land. They walked across hanging bridges and climbed down long vines until their feet touched the forest floor. The land was full of tall grass and soft light. Large trees rose high above them. Flowers opened slowly as the morning sun touched them. As they walked, Toma noticed how the Taru moved with care. Lena stepped lightly over plants and paused to let insects pass. She touched one of the trees with her hand. This one is old, she said, older than all of us. It holds the memory of rain. Toma placed his hand on the tree. Its bark was rough, but warm. He closed his eyes for a moment. A strange calm filled him. Later, they reached a field of soft floating fruit. The fruit grew from large plants tied to vines and floating stones. The stones lifted the plants into the air. The roots hung down like hair, moving with the wind. Lena handed Toma a wooden tool. We feed them with water from the ground, she explained. Together, they carried water in round leaves and poured it over the roots. The plants gave off a light mist when touched. The air became cool and fresh. This place is alive, Toma said. Lena smiled. Yes, and it listens. Toma looked around. The land was full of color and sound. He thought about Earth, about tall cities and cold machines. This place was the opposite. It was quiet but strong, old but gentle. After the work was done, they rested near a small pond. The water was clear. Bright fish swam near the surface. Toma placed his hand in the water. It felt clean and light. Lena sat beside him. You are quiet again, she said. Toma looked at her. This place makes me think. Your people live with the land, not against it. It is the way of the Taru, Lena replied. We lost much long ago, so now we hold on to peace. Toma wanted to ask more, but before he could speak, another voice called to them from the trees. It was Sorry, waving from a high branch. Mira wants to show him the old stones, she said. Toma stood up and followed. Lena walked with him. They reached a tall hill with smooth rock steps. At the top, large stones stood in a half circle. They were covered with carvings. Some were new. Some were so old the lines were hard to see. Mira stood waiting. These are the memory stones, she said. They hold the past of our people. Toma walked closer and looked at the carvings. One stone showed a group of tall people under one sun. Another showed clouds falling and people walking in sadness. A third stone showed a small figure rising from the sky. Mira touched the third one. This is you, she said. Toma shook his head. This was carved long ago. Mira smiled gently. Yes, the story was told by our grandmothers. They said one would come, one not of our size, but of heart, one who walks with respect, not power. Toma looked at the stone for a long time. Then Mira pointed to a small cave below the hill. Come, she said. One more place to see. Inside the cave, it was cool and quiet. Light came from small glowing stones in the walls, carvings lined the sides. But deeper inside, machines sat under covers. They were old, dusty, and silent. Toma knelt beside one. He brushed off the cover. A small panel blinked faintly. This is old tech. He said, "Your people once used machines." Mira nodded. "Yes, long ago. We lived with tools, lights, even skyboats. But when the sickness came and the sky dust burned the land, our elders turned away from it. They chose the forest over fire, nature over metal." Toma placed his hand on the machine. It was still warm. "Some of these tools still work," he said. "I can fix them." Mira looked at him. "We know. That is why we waited. You are a child of machines, but you listen to trees. You may be the bridge." Toma felt something change inside him. He thought he came to study, to learn. But now he saw his place differently. He was not just a visitor. He could help join to ways of life. They left the cave as the sun began to set. The sky turned gold and red. The forest glowed under the evening light. Back in the village, music began. Soft drums and flutes played through the trees. The people of Taru gathered near the fire. Some danced. Others shared food. Toma sat with Lena, Sari, and Mira. They did not ask him to speak. They simply shared their time. He looked at their faces. Each one had given him something. Knowledge, trust, kindness, hope. And slowly, inside his heart, something clear began to grow. A choice was near. It was a quiet morning. The sky over the city was clear. Sunlight touched the rooftops and warmed the cool air. Inside the small workshop, everything was calm. Tools lay in their places. Machines rested on shelves. Only the soft sound of a fan broke the silence. Nira stood near the window, looking outside. She had stayed with Ravi for many days now. She had watched his kindness. She had seen how he worked hard without asking for anything in return. She had laughed for the first time in a long while. But today, her heart felt heavy. The time had come to tell him the truth. Ravi walked in with 2 cups of tea. He placed one on the table beside her. "You're quiet today," he said. "I have something to say." Nira replied. Ravi didn't speak. He sat down and waited. He always listened. First, that was something she had learned to respect. Nira took a slow breath. "I'm not from here," she said. Ravi looked at her gently. "I know," he said. Nira was surprised. "You knew?" "I didn't know for sure," he answered. "But I could feel it. You move differently. You speak like someone who watches the world from far away." Nira looked down. Her hands trembled slightly. "I came here with a mission. I was sent to study your people, to see how humans feel. My leaders believe feelings are dangerous, that emotions make your kind unstable. They wanted proof." Ravi nodded slowly. "And what did you find?" Nira looked at him. Her voice softened. "I found warmth. I found kindness. I found someone who helped without questions." She paused. "And I found something I wasn't supposed to find." Ravi smiled just a little. "What was that?" Nira touched her chest gently. "Peace." They sat in silence for a moment. The fan hummed above them. Outside, the street was alive with soft sounds of morning. Nira continued. "I should have reported everything days ago, but I didn't want to. I wanted to understand this world first." Ravi stood up and walked to the shelf. He picked up a small telescope. It was old, but clean. He handed it to Nira. "Come with me," he said. They climbed to the rooftop of the building. The sky stretched far above, clear and wide. Ravi set the telescope down and pointed toward the horizon. "I used to come here with my father," he said. "He showed me the stars, told me each one had a story. I used to think they were just lights, but now I wonder if someone up there is also watching us." Nira smiled softly. "We are." She looked through the telescope. The stars were faint in the morning sky, but she could see a few. Her home was somewhere out there, far and cold. Ravi looked at her carefully. "Will you go back?" "I don't know," Nira said. "If I return, I may be ordered to stay. They may not let me come again." "What do you want?" That question made her quiet. No one from her world had ever asked that. On Solari, choices were made by logic, not by heart. "I want to stay," she whispered. Ravi didn't say anything. He took something out of his pocket. It was a small silver compass. The glass was scratched, but the needle still moved. "This was my father's," he said. He gave it to me when I was lost once. He said, no matter where you go, this will always point to where you need to be. He placed it in her hand. Now it's yours. Nira looked at the compass. It was small, simple, yet full of meaning. She closed her fingers around it. Thank you, she said. That evening, Nira sent her final report to Solari. Her fingers hovered over the device before she began. Then she spoke, her voice calm and clear. This is Nira, final message from Earth. Mission is complete. I have studied the humans. They feel deeply. They hurt. They laugh. They hope. And yet, they continue to build, to share, to care. She paused. I was told that emotions are a weakness. But here, I found strength in them. Humans are not dangerous because of their feelings. They are strong because of them. She stopped the recording. She took a deep breath. Then she added something. I have failed my mission. I was supposed to stay distant, but I became part of this world. I found a reason to care. I am not returning yet. My heart is not ready to leave. She sent the message. That night, the stars above the city seemed brighter. Nira sat with Ravi on the rooftop. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to dot in the sky. Far beyond the clouds, the people of Solari read her report. Olda, her commander, listened to her voice. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he said quietly, the heart does not follow orders. He closed the file and looked at the stars. Morning light touched the city softly. The air smelled fresh after the storm. Nira woke early. She stood on the rooftop, looking at the sky. Her eyes searched for something she couldn't see but could feel. Somewhere out there, her message had reached Solari. And now, she waited, downstairs. Ravi was already making tea. The shop had opened again, though the streets were still quiet. Some people passed by and waved. Ravi always smiled back. When Nira walked in, Ravi looked at her and asked, Did you sleep well? Yes, she said. But her voice was far away. You're thinking about your people. She nodded. They know I stayed. They may send someone to ask questions or take me back. Ravi placed the tea on the table. Whatever happens, we'll face it together. Nira sat down. She held the silver compass in her hand. It had become a small comfort. Its quiet needle reminded her that some things always pointed home, even if home had changed. Later that afternoon, something strange happened. A soft buzzing sound filled the air. Not from machines, not from traffic. It came from above. Nira stepped outside quickly and looked up. There, floating just below the clouds, was a small silver pod. It hovered silently. Its smooth surface reflected the sky. Slowly, it began to descend. People on the street stopped and stared. Some pointed. Others took out their phones. The pod landed in an empty space behind Ravi's shop. Ravi followed Nira as she walked toward it. The door of the pod opened. A figure stepped out. It was tall and calm, dressed in silver gray. Its face was kind, but serious. It was Olda, her commander. He looked at Nira without speaking for a moment. Then he said, You sent a strong message. Nira bowed her head. I had to speak the truth. Olda nodded. You were not sent to feel. But you did. You were not sent to stay. But you have. I am sorry, Nira said. There is no need to be sorry, Olda replied. You did what we could not. You understood. Ravi stood beside Nira. He didn't speak. He simply listened. Olda turned to him. You are the reason she changed. You showed her something real. Ravi smiled gently. I only did what felt right. Olda looked at Nira again. The council wanted to bring you back. They believed emotions would cloud your mind. But your message changed something. Nira's eyes widened. They listened. Olda nodded. They are not ready to understand everything, but they are ready to wait and to watch. He held out a small device. This is your choice. If you press it, the pod will return with you. If you don't, it will go back empty. Nira looked at the device. It was light in her hand. One touch could send her home. One touch could end her time on Earth. Ravi stepped back. This choice is yours. Nira closed her eyes. She remembered the stars above her home, the cold air of Solari, the long halls of the science center, the silence of logic. Then she opened her eyes and looked at Ravi. She saw his quiet strength, his open heart, the sound of laughter they had shared, the warm cup of tea every morning. She placed the device in Olda's hand. I will stay. Olda nodded, not surprised. Then we will leave the door open. One day, we may return, not to study, but to learn. He turned toward the pod. Before stepping inside, he looked at Ravi again. Take care of her. She is rare. Ravi nodded. I will. The pod rose into the sky. Slowly, gently, it disappeared into the clouds. The people who had watched now clapped and cheered. Some waved. They didn't understand what had happened, but they knew it was something good. Back in the shop, Nira sat down quietly. It's over, she said. I chose this world. Ravi poured another cup of tea. You didn't just choose Earth, he said. You chose a new life. Nira smiled. Yes, and I don't regret it. That evening, they walked through the city. The lights had returned. Children played in the streets. A musician played soft music at the corner. The world was alive again. Nira felt something new in her heart, a quiet joy, a soft peace. The fear was gone. The past no longer pulled her back. The future was hers to build. Ravi pointed to a shop window. Inside, a small radio was playing news. The strange object seen in the sky today was confirmed to be a weather balloon, the reporter said. But some believe it was something more. Nira laughed gently. Let them wonder. They always will. Ravi said. As they walked home, stars began to appear one by one. High above, a small light blinked once, then faded. Olda, flying back to Solari, looked out of his window. She has found her place, he said. The days passed slowly after the pod left. Life in the city returned to normal. But something inside Nira had changed. She no longer looked at Earth as a place to study. Now, she looked at it as her home. Ravi noticed this too. She smiled more. She talked with the shop's customers. She asked questions about the festivals and food. One day, she even helped an old woman carry her basket down the street. You're becoming more human every day, Ravi said with a smile. I don't know what that means, Nira replied, but I think I like it. One quiet evening, the two of them sat on the rooftop again. The sky was full of stars. The same stars Nira once studied with cold logic now looked soft and peaceful. Do you miss your world? Ravi asked. I think I miss the quiet halls, Nira said, but not the silence in my heart. She held the silver compass in her hand. This still points to the stars. But now, I don't feel lost. Ravi looked at her kindly. Maybe home isn't always a place. Maybe it's a feeling. Nira nodded. Then I have found it. In the weeks that followed, something surprising happened. The people in the neighborhood started coming to the shop not just for tea or tools. They came to talk to Nira. They liked her calm way of listening. She didn't judge. She didn't rush. She gave her full attention. A boy named Imran came one day with a broken toy robot. It used to walk. He said sadly. Nira took the robot, looked at it carefully, and smiled. It still can. She worked on it for 2 days. Then she gave it back to Imran. The robot walked again. The boy laughed and clapped. You're magic, he said. Nira only smiled. Just careful hands. Word spread. Soon, people came with old radios, broken watches, and stories of things that no longer worked. Nira listened and fixed what she could. Ravi stood beside her in the shop. You're building more than machines. You're building trust. Nira looked around. They believe in me, even without knowing where I come from. That's what humans do, Ravi said. When someone shows care, we give it back. One afternoon, Nira received a message, not from Solari, but from a traveler. An explorer from another world had landed far away, and somehow picked up the old signal she had sent. He was curious. He wanted to meet the human who captured a Solari heart. Nira smiled as she read the message. He won't find what he expects, she said. Will he come here? Ravi asked. No, she answered. I'll reply. He needs to find his own path, not follow mine. She walked to the riverbank and sent her reply using a small device she kept hidden. As the signal flew upward into the sky, she whispered. May you find what I found. That night, Ravi and Nira sat with some neighbors around a small fire. Someone played a flute. Children ran in circles. The air was full of warmth. Do you ever wonder? One man asked, why you came here? Nira looked at the fire. I came for study, but I stayed for something stronger. What's stronger than science? The man joked. Nira looked at Ravi. Understanding, connection, and something I never had before. Ravi looked at her, then added softly, love. Everyone smiled. Someone passed hot tea around. The night was full of laughter and soft voices as the fire died down. The group said goodbye and left one by one. Only Ravi and Nira stayed. They watched the last flame fade. Tomorrow is the festival, Ravi said. Do you want to come? Yes, Nira said without thinking. I want to be part of it. The next day, the city was full of color. Flags waved from rooftops. Drums played in the distance. People wore bright clothes. Music filled the streets. Ravi walked beside Nira as they moved through the crowd. She wore a simple dress, gifted by one of the shop's customers. Her eyes were full of wonder. Children danced. Women drew patterns on the ground with colored powders. A group offered sweets. Ravi took two and gave one to Nira. She took a bite and smiled. This is new. It's called gulab jamun, Ravi said. Sweet, like this day. Nira nodded. I will remember this. They spent the whole day walking, talking, and laughing. For the first time, Nira felt like she was not different. She was just another person in the crowd, part of the story. As the sun set, lights began to glow across the city. Lanterns floated into the sky. Nira held one in her hand. Do I just let it go? Yes, Ravi said. Let it carry your wish. She released the lantern. It rose slowly, joining others in the dark sky, a soft light among many. What did you wish for? Ravi asked. I didn't wish, she said. I thanked. For what? For this life, for this world, for you, Ravi smiled. Then we both found something special. As the last lantern disappeared into the night, Nira leaned closer. Human, she whispered. What have you done? You've captured my heart forever. Ravi didn't answer with words. He simply reached for her hand and held it gently. They stood like that in silence, and somewhere far above, the stars watched over them.